Hello everyone, welcome back, and I know that it's been quite some time since I've made my last video. The reason I didn't make a review video for last week is because honestly, nothing really happened. I mean, there's really nothing interesting, and also the Auburn loss really just, like, after we lost to Vanderbilt, I'm just like, nope, I'm turning off football, done watching. And again, there's nothing really to say about last week. You know, there's like the really close game Indiana had against Penn State. You know, there was Alabama playing really bad against LSU, which I didn't watch that game, but I heard and I saw Alabama's statistics. They were pretty bad offensively. But other than that, there's really nothing to talk about from that week. So I was, just didn't really feel like making a video on it. I was saying, how I was going to make an Auburn video on it, or, like the whole coaching situation, but, I don't know, I just never really felt like doing that. And again, there's really, not a lot to talk about, but, honestly, I'll go ahead and get into this, or this review for the, college football playoff poll. And I know the rankings are really a bit different than the actual brackets, placements, but I mean, the bracket is what matters, really, so I'm going to be reviewing that. So I'm going to go ahead and get into it. So in the top left, we have Notre Dame versus Oregon. This would actually be a really interesting matchup to see, because Oregon did recently, or last week, they had that very close game against Iowa. I don't know what it is. Iowa, every year, they go like 8-4, 7-5, maybe 6-6, or maybe 9-3 at their best, but they always have a great defense, but a really bad offense. It's like, I don't know what it is. They do it every single year, and I don't know how they do it, but Oregon went to their place, struggled a lot. I don't really know how that game went. I don't know if anything crazy happened, but I know Oregon barely skimmed by, and they did get a safety pretty early on. I did see that, but other than that, Oregon, I don't know. The thing about Oregon is, you could say Iowa's a good win, but it's not like the most impressive thing. Like every other team on here has had a better win than that, I would say. So Oregon, I think, is the most overrated team in the top 12 right now. I don't know what it is. They just literally have not had a good resume this entire season outside of beating Iowa. That's it. And again, I'm going to keep bringing up the one time they do play a ranked team in Indiana, they lose by double digits at home. And the worst part is 7 of their 20 points came from a pick six. So in reality, they got beaten more so 30-13. And that picks, they didn't get demolished at home, but again, they got manhandled. I'm going to keep saying that. Oregon, they're okay. They're not that good. Very overrated as to why they shouldn't be in the top 12. It's just because they have a good record. That's literally it. Next, we have USF versus Georgia. See, the reason I actually waited to make this video is because when I saw the AP bracket, not the AP, the college football playoff bracket, I was like, USF in the top 12? Wait, what? This has to be wrong, right? But it wasn't wrong. I was surprised that they're in the top 12, or at least in the bracket they were. I'm like, wait, what, really? But they're here, and they played, if this was the bracket, the final bracket, they'd be playing Georgia. And right now, Georgia looks like one of the best teams in the nation. So, earlier on, I would have said Georgia, and they're looking very shaky, but they've just been improving every single week. They got a really nice road win over not USF. They got a really nice road win over Mississippi State. I think Mississippi State is better than a lot of people think, just because they have a really bad record. They have been so close. They're in a very similar situation to Auburn and Tennessee, where they're so close to having a better record, a way better record. It's just come down to a couple plays. But Mississippi State, they're a decent team. I'd say they've been better this year than they have in a while. And Georgia goes in there and just completely eviscerates them. There's really nothing to talk about. They just walk in, blow them out, then get out. That's really what the game kind of felt like. So, really nice win for Georgia. The thing about USF is sometimes they look really good. Sometimes they don't. One of their losses is to now a Miami team that is not as good as we thought they were. I was very high on Miami. I would say week 4 and places like that. After they beat Florida State, I was like, yeah, Miami, they're legit. And Miami, they fell off hard. Carson Beck, not been playing great. Just, I don't know what it is. They just, Miami did this last year and they're doing it this year. They start off really hot, but then they just completely fall flat. And this is the same team that blew out USF, demolished them. And then USF lost to who else? I'm forgetting who else they lost to, but it doesn't matter. I'm picking Georgia. Either way, it's 100% Georgia. It would not be close. Next, top right, we have Texas. Texas versus Ole Miss. Both these teams really didn't. I'm pretty sure, Texas had a bye week, if I'm not mistaken. Who did freaking Ole Miss played? No one. Dude, that would be this would be a really good matchup because, dude, it really comes down to how well Arch Manning would play in this game. And that's really been the whole story of Texas. Texas's success comes down to how well Arch Manning plays. And you could say that about a lot of teams at the quarterback position, but it really does heavily rely on how good Arch Manning plays for Texas to be successful at all. Because, again, look at their two really good wins. Oklahoma, Vanderbilt, and, just some of the other success they've had. Like against, fourth quarter against Mississippi State. What do? When Arch Manning, starts getting hot, they win games. They just play out of their mind. And Texas has the talent to do that. Here's the thing. He is so and here's the thing. I'm gonna talk about this more once I get the preview for these week 12 games. How can I trust Arch Manning as a quarterback? He is so inconsistent. You'll have days where he plays, you'll say, he plays pretty good against Oklahoma. But then he plays, I'm talking about awful against Mississippi State and against Kentucky. So, I don't know. And then you'll get the next version. What is it? Yeah, you put him against Vanderbilt, then he ends up playing really freaking good. So it's which Arch Manning you going to get? And because I don't like inconsistent quarterbacks, honestly, I would take Ole Miss. Texas' defense don't get me wrong, they're really good sometimes. Again, Mississippi State Texas could stop them. And I think Ole Miss has a much, much better offense than Mississippi State and a better defense. So how could I trust Texas to beat Ole Miss right now? I think Ole Miss is the better team overall. And so I'd pick them in that one. But I'd really want to see that. That'd actually be a really good matchup. But now we have Miami versus Tech. Oh my gosh. Miami's in the, oh my gosh. I didn't even realize Miami is in this bracket until now. You see, again, the rankings are different, so I don't really know if this isn't the actual official bracket, but Miami being in it's ridiculous. I get they only have, 2 losses now. What's one of them to SMU, which is a pretty bad loss. And then who they lose to? Louisville. Yeah. And then they have been looking really sloppy. I don't know. If Miami wins out, then yeah, they get in. And also helps because Virginia and Louisville lost, which is very good in Miami's case. But, I'm picking Texas Tech, and it's not really because I think Texas Tech has played a harder schedule than Miami. And even though, they have Miami, both these teams haven't played the stiffest of competition, but I'd say Texas Tech has played tougher teams overall. Again, that Utah win was pretty nice, and they, beat a not too shabby Houston team. They've beaten some other teams, but Texas Tech has just looked so dominant this year. Outside of their one loss to Arizona State, they have looked dominant in every single game. So I don't know. In Miami, if you can lose to SMU and Louisville, they can definitely lose anyone in this top 12. So I would take Texas Tech in that one, even though I'm not a big Texas Tech watcher. I don't know. Also, Carson Beck is too inconsistent. Some games he'll be on fire, but then other games, it's he's the better version of Arch Manning, which is good, I guess. But it's not. It's still not great. It's not great enough to win you a playoff game against a pretty good Texas Tech team. So I'd take Texas Tech. But moving on to round 2, we have Oregon versus Ohio State. Not Oregon, Notre Dame versus Ohio State. I was about to say that was a rematch. But this is also a rematch because Ohio State played both these teams in the college football playoffs. If I'm going to be honest, Ohio State is, again, going to keep saying this, they look like by far the most dominant team in the nation. Right now, I would say Indiana because they've had probably the largest margin of victory, but Ohio State they look like the best team in the nation right now. Their defense it's unreal. I haven't seen a defense like this since 2021, 2022 Georgia. I haven't seen a defense like that in forever. Since those years, but man, it's scary. And not only that, they have 3 Heisman contenders on offense. So again, I'm picking Ohio State by a million also because, Notre Dame, while they're a good team, they're not Ohio State. They still have to. Miami is not a bad loss. It's just, I don't know. They haven't looked spectacular. They're just not on Ohio State's level, I guess what I'm trying to say. If I'm picking Alabama versus Georgia, again, I said this last week. The last reaction I had to one of these. Alabama owns Georgia. They're going to beat them every single time. Outside that one national championship game where their 2 starting receivers got hurt, I'm picking out. They just own Georgia. I don't know what it is. Georgia cannot beat these guys. I've been hearing a lot of Heisman discussions lately. Here's my take on it. A lot of people, and I think a stupid amount of people are saying it should go to Julian Sand. Here's the thing. My take on the whole Julian Sand versus, Ty Simpson, you can even throw in Mendoza or Marcel Reed. Who has Ohio State played? And I know this is going to be the tale's oldest time where people say, oh, well, who has this team played? And I get it. I really do. He has the best completion percentage in the nation. He's the most. I would argue that, you could say he's the most accurate passer in the nation. Here's the thing. When you play against Purdue and all these sucky Big Ten teams, and I get I've been calling Ohio State the best team in the nation, which I think they are, but, in a counter argument to that might be saying, well, if you say Ohio State has been playing the best, having the toughest strength of schedule, then why are they number 1 in your opinion? Here's the thing. I know when teams have an elite defense, elite players. And here's the thing. I think Julian Sand is also really good. But here's the thing. When it comes down to it, he's just not as good as Ty Simpson or okay, you could say he's maybe better than Marcel Reed. But here's the thing. Has Julian Sand ever had to scramble? You've seen the clips of Julian Sand, and I get it was on turf fields, but his jersey's just completely fine. He has maybe the best offensive line in the country protecting him. I've never seen him had to run out and scramble and get a crazy pass. And I get he's very accurate. When he can sit in the pocket all day, he can sit back and get all these these crazy stat lines. Here's the thing. When you watch Ty Simpson and you watch Gunnar Stockton, also, again, way too many, or not enough people are talking about Gunnar Stockton. That dude is he might be, I don't know. I'm not going to say he's better than Ty Simpson, but I don't know, he might be. He's really getting up there. But again, when you watch Gunnar Stockton and Ty Simpson play, you see those guys scrambling out of the pocket and still stopping, make these crazy accurate throws in between 3 defenders, and you can just tell when these quarterbacks are playmakers is what I'm trying to say. Ty Simpson, Gunnar Stockton, Marcel Reed are playmakers. Julian Sand, again, he's very accurate. He is probably the most accurate passer in the nation. But last time I checked, the Heisman doesn't go to the most accurate passer. It's the best quarterback. And I think Ty Simpson, Gunnar Stockton, and debatably even Marcel Reed are better quarterbacks than him. While he's very accurate, he has all day. Who's the defenses he's playing against? The best defense I can think of that Ohio State has played so far is Illinois, Washington? I don't know. These teams are very mediocre. Penn State doesn't count. Penn State sucks. I don't know. Ohio State is, again, I cannot take, until I see Julian Sand go out there, and I think, it'll be too late then by now, but once he can earn my respect once he plays Michigan, and Michigan actually forces him to make big plays and clutch moments. Because here's the thing, Ohio State has been leading every single game. Like, they have been dominating every single game they've played. Like, and they don't play good competition. Ty Simpson, Gunnar Stockton have been consistently losing. Like, I mean, more so Gunnar Stockton, but they've been, like, these quarterbacks have been losing multiple times in games. Like Ty Simpson against South Carolina and against Vanderbilt, and Gunnar Stockton, and, you know, Georgia, pretty much every game they've played, they've started out losing this season. Like, these guys are legit. You can tell Gunnar Stockton, Ty Simpson, Marcel Reed, these guys are playmakers. They, like, if you take, okay, let's say this. If Ohio State's down by, let's say, 14 in the fourth quarter, not just, okay, yeah, let's say Ohio State's down by 14 fourth quarter. Which quarterback are you picking? Are you picking Julian Sand or Ty Simpson? Or you can put in Marcel Reed, Gunnar Stockton, whoever. Do you really trust Julian Sand to sit back there in the pocket and wait, you know, forever and have his absolute monster receivers, Jeremiah Smith and Carnell Tate, open all the time? Like, when there's, okay, let's say this, fourth quarter, we'll say 6 minutes left in the game, because you have to not only score, you have to get a stop really fast and then score again really quickly. So actually, no, we'll leave you like 3 minutes left in the game. Let's say you're down by double digits in the fourth quarter with only 3 minutes left in the game. Who are you taking? Ty Simpson or Julian Sand? I feel like, and this is just me, maybe I'm wrong, maybe y'all do feel this high about him, but I'm taking Ty Simpson and Gunnar Stockton and Marcel Reed over Julian Sand to make big plays happen. Again, this award does not go to the most accurate passer. This award goes to the best player in the nation. And I think Ty Simpson, Gunnar Stockton, and Marcel Reed are better overall players than him. So, I don't know. To me, it's not really even that. You could maybe say it's close, but again, I think Ty Simpson, Gunnar Stockton are much more clutch, and they are just playmakers. They're better playmakers than Julian Sand. So that's my whole rant about it. But anyway, again, I was talking about Alabama versus Georgia, yes. So again, I'm taking Alabama to win that game 8 out of 10 times. But anyway, moving on. Next up, we have Ole Miss versus Indiana, and I think I had this matchup I talked about this matchup last time the last video I made about these polls. I said I'll take Indiana again. I want to stay on that. Indiana, just, even though they had a pretty shaky game against Penn State, here's the thing. These sort of games happen to every team. There's going to be a big brand team like Penn State or a rivalry or a conference game on the road. Like, conference games on the road are always going to be tougher than normal. And it just happens. These games happen to every team, so I'm not going to hold it against them too much. Do I think they should have lost? Yes. I cannot believe Penn State blew. I mean, dog, all Penn State had it. Like, here's the thing. And what's really annoying with these commentators are talking about, oh, Mendoza has the best. Oh my gosh, he's the Heisman quarterback right here, when he didn't even play that good in the game. Here's the thing. I think Mendoza's good, but he's not good. Again, back to the whole Heisman thing. He's not Gunnar Stockton. He's not Julian Sand. He's not Ty Simpson. And I don't think he's Marcel Reed. I'll say that. But, you know, they have a pretty good last drive of the game. And, you know, they have that absolutely absurd catch. Here's the thing. Do I think he stepped out on the play? It's really close, but I can see why they didn't rule it. What I thought I saw an offensive lineman jump off sides before the play happened, but maybe I was tripping. But anyway, Penn State just finds a way to lose another big game. Indiana's still a really good team. They have better defense than Ole Miss, and offense is still pretty good. I'd give the edge to Indiana. And even though Ole Miss has played a better team, I just think they've looked better overall. Again, I'd say, you know, again, by margin of victory, Indiana's definitely number one. Texas A&M versus Texas Tech. This would be a good one because, dude, here's the thing. Sometimes Texas A&M's defense looks elite. Sometimes they look just okay, like against Missouri, elite. Against LSU, elite. Against Arkansas, not very good. Teams like that. So, like, Texas A&M at their best is like top 3 teams in the nation. Like, I have Texas A&M ranked ahead of Alabama and Indiana now. So, Dude, Texas Tech is looking, not Texas Tech, Texas A&M has looked unstoppable right now. No one, and I mean no one, has been able to slow down the offense outside of Auburn, my team. So, but other than that, I mean, they've just been controlling games, really. So I'm taking Texas A&M by a good bit, and plus, Texas Tech hasn't played as great a competition, and just Texas A&M overall, the much better team. Next up, we have Alabama versus Ohio State in the semifinals. Dude, I talked about this in the last time I made one of these videos. I don't know. Alabama has just been looking a little sketchy recently. I don't know what it is. In these games, they have a really good win over, the Georgia, Vanderbilt, Missouri, that little game, that game stretch. But there's something just, they've been looking a little sketchy. What I mean by that, they haven't looked great in any of these games. Now, they've looked decent, but they haven't looked great. Like, when they played Vanderbilt, I mean, they dang near got down 14-0 in the first quarter and could have been down by way more at half in their home stadium. It didn't happen because, of course, Ty Simpson, he's very clutch, the defense. And I think that's the best thing about, Alabama's whole team right now is their defense has actually been improving by a lot. They've been doing really good. And, people might say, oh, what does that mean? Ty Simpson's not very good. No, you just have to watch the way Alabama plays. You will just understand once you watch more Alabama film. But yeah, Alabama, I don't know. They've looked too sketchy. Again, got really, dang near should have lost to South Carolina. And, again, I was talking about conference road games happen, and, it is what it is. But then they look really bad against LSU on offense. I heard Ty Simpson, he still had a decent game. It was just, again, running game is terrible. Here's the thing. Alabama's just not a running game or a running team anymore. It's just the way Ryan Grubb, Caleb Bower, that's the way they run the offense. And, it's worked in Alabama, but it just ends up having a much different outcome on the game. And here's the thing. If Alabama could run the ball, they'd be the best team in the nation, but they can't. And Ohio State has an elite defense. I think Alabama would struggle to score a lot. Ty Simpson, I'm sure he'd have a couple of really solid drives, put up maybe 20, but Ohio State, man, how is Alabama's secondary going to guard Carnell Tate and Jeremiah Smith? They're not. While Alabama's defense has been really good, it's just they haven't played the weapons that Ohio State has. And another thing, as I was saying, how do you know that Ohio State's the best team when they haven't played the stiffest competition? Because we've seen these same players play last year. Like, we know that Jeremiah Smith, Caleb Downs, Carnell Tate, all these players are really freaking good. And Julian Sand, again, as long as they can just sit back in the pocket, they're going to be dang near impossible to stop. But, I think Alabama does have a really good defensive line. So I think Ohio State's offense would struggle. I think it'd be lower scoring than people would think. But, again, when you got, you could even say 4, because I think Caleb Downs is still really freaking good. And there's that, one linebacker Ohio State has that's, really freaking good, too. Ohio State just has so many dudes on the team. I just have to give it to them. But moving to Indiana versus Texas A&M. I don't think I went over this the last one of these videos I made, but, dude, my opinion has changed a lot because of Texas A&M. They're legit. They are really freaking good. As to why the college football playoff poll has Indiana ranked higher, I don't know. Texas A&M has played better competition, and they've looked better. I think Texas A&M has looked better. They've played better teams, and right now they look more dominant. So it comes down to this. It depends on how well Texas A&M's defense plays. It really just comes down to the defenses, really, because sometimes in his defense, again, they haven't really struggled all season against anyone. I mean, I didn't watch a lot of the Penn State game, but if you hold your opponent to 24 points, I'd say that's still fine. Man, it really comes down to I don't know. I don't think Indiana's defense is going to be able to stop Marshall Reed because no one has. There hasn't been a single team that's been able to really slow Texas A&M's offense down. And again, you saw it against Notre Dame. I mean, they put up that ridiculous drive to come back and win that one. And I think, Texas A&M could do something like that against Indiana. And I think Indiana's offense, I think they'd get points. They'd struggle a lot, though. I don't know. I feel like Texas A&M is just the better team. I'd say quarterbacks are both, they're both pretty good. But Marshall Reed, man, I've heard this from one of the guys I watch. He's kind of like the Lamar Jackson of college football a little bit. Do I think he's that good? No. I think he's good. He might even be considered great, but he's not, he's not elite or anything, but he's really good. He can absolutely win games, and I haven't seen a single defense be able to stop him yet, and I don't really know how great Indiana's defense is because here's the thing. These Big Ten teams, they play sucky competition. I again, can't stress it enough, so I don't really know how great Indiana's defense really is. I don't know. I just feel like I've seen more out of Texas A&M, so I just have to pick them. And for the finals, Ohio State versus Texas A&M, again, I think Alabama and Texas A&M are both pretty comparable teams. So I'm just going to be using the same logic as what I would against Ohio State and Alabama for this one. I think Texas A&M's offense would be a bit better, harder to stop because, while Ty Simpson is a really good scrambler in his own right, Marshall Reed is he's dang near unstoppable when he's actually breaks free. So it'd be really freaking tough to contain him. Texas A&M would have to have a very long time of possession to win the game. But dude, I don't know. Again, I'm just going to have to give it to Ohio State. Last year they went on that crazy playoff run with all the weapons they have. I don't know. I just can't really pick against Ohio State. I just feel most confident in them. So, again, nothing much changed. My national championship favorite is always going to be Ohio State unless they look really freaking bad in the last couple of games. So, I don't know. But anyway, this video has been long. I was trying to end it here. If you made it this far, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the preview.